This is an Ellis Mowers and More small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. On today's video repair, what we are going to do is work on yet another Craftsman LT2000 lawn tractor. Y'all see me do the LT2000 that had the Kohler on it with the hydrostatic, the LT3000 that had blown up Briggs & Stratton on it, and the 6-speed transaxle in it. This one right here has what's supposed to be a Briggs & Stratton engine on it and a hydrostatic transaxle. Still kind of the same fascia and everything. We'll get it all nice and pretty here at the end of this video. This mower is got the deck on it and the hydrostatic, it doesn't want to roll. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that. But what else we've got is no engine. So he took an engine and put it on. The person that I got this from, which I did a trade deal with weed trimmers a while back over the, I guess, late fall now, and got 2 LT2000s and 2 engines. I took the engine that I originally was going to put in this and put in the LT3000 just to get that machine done and out, and now I think I'm going to put that old 14.5 horsepower on this when I tried to put that on the 3000 at first, but I'd already put the other one on there and it ran fine, and so I just left it on there. We'll put the 14.5 on this. It'll run fine. It'll be plenty of power for this machine. I'm gonna give y'all a look at everything going on with this Craftsman and show you all around it. We've got a little bit of tidying up to do when it comes to like safety switches and things like that as well. And then we'll put an engine on it, double stack pulley, exhaust, everything that it's going to need in order for it to run correctly again. We'll do all that. We'll do all the trivial work before we put the engine on it. And I'll give you all a look around it. So let's go ahead and take a look. So originally this came, as you can see from the sticker there, an 18.5 Intech. I don't know what happened with the engine on it. I know the guy that I got it from was a tinkerer, and so he liked tinkering with things, and I think this is what happened with this. I think they tried to put a different machine or engine on this at first that had an external choke that was separate from the throttle. Didn't look like it worked out very well. Obviously we don't have an engine in it anymore. 42-inch deck, like I said, hydrostatic transmission, 42-inch deck. I don't have a deck belt for it, but we can check to see how everything is. Those are the blade brakes that we're looking at there. If we look under the deck here, are we rusted anywhere? It doesn't appear to be. We have the return spring on here still too. It looks like the blade engage cable is all jacked up from where I can see it right there. Hopefully y'all can see it as well. We've got some random wire running to the back from the front. I don't have a positive battery cable on it, so I have to put a positive cable on it. Don't have a starter solenoid on it. We'll put a starter solenoid on it as well. Does this have a fuse in it? It does have a fuse in it. That's good. But you can see that the blade safety and the brake safety are just zip tied down. We will fix those as well. So what have we got here? Positive battery cable. The ignition switch is unplugged back here. I don't know what all is going on with this thing. Gas tank has been raised, which is actually a good thing. That'll help with the gravity feed for the new engine. And this right here was compromised a little bit. I've still got the pigtail off of the other machine that I can just pop onto here, and so we'll have, you know, the anti-backfire solenoid and all those other little things still as well. So this is pretty good hack job from what I can tell. I'm going to do a lot of the little trivial things here next, and when we get to the point of putting the engine on, I'll have y'all rejoin me, and I'll show you everything that I had to do here and its finished product. Alright, let's see if we can get down here and I'll show you how I put it all together. Show you the proper way, so to speak, with all the safety switches and whatnot on this machine. So I put this starter solenoid in here, and that worked. Found a couple of positive battery cables. One of them that had the little pigtail with the clip on it. And then your safeties click right there. You have to put that one in from underneath, and you put this one in from, you lift the blade engage lever and then push it in there. They should both be working. The guy, I guess, just bypassed them just because he did. I think they were gonna make this like a race mower or something. I don't know, but we're gonna make it a mowing mower again. So that battery cable runs to the back here, and then I just zip tied it underneath right there, and so we're good in that aspect. I have taken off the throttle cable and the choke cable that were on this. I've got a ton of Craftsman parts just from fixing these over the years, so I've got a correct throttle cable to go on this machine that is originally supposed to go on it, and we're pretty much ready for the engine now. So what I could do next, I'm going to go ahead and put that throttle cable on, find that out in my shed back there, and tidy up these wires just a little bit more so they don't rub on the steering shaft, and we should be good to go here in just a few minutes. So next time you see this, I'll have the throttle cable on, I'll have the engine screwed on to it as well, and we'll go from there. Well, almost 3 months later now, finally getting back onto this. It's probably more than 3 months, honestly. I don't even know what my last recorded clip is. I pulled this carburetor off of another machine. I either had to rob this carburetor off of something or for something else, or I don't know. I can't remember at this point. But I'm hoping that this one works. If not, I'll put a new one on and we'll see. But y'all seen me do this plenty of times, putting these old carbs on these Briggs. Just standard issue here. I need to find a choke. I need to find the choke arm for this. I don't know what I've done with half of this stuff. Actually, I do. I just need to get it. Excuse me. So, let's see. Put all this stuff in a bin about 3 months ago. There we are. Because if y'all remember, I pulled this engine for another machine. I was a little bit nicer than this one just to get it out the door. That other LT2000, actually, I sold that one for... I got a trade deal on that. I think I got like $300, $350 plus a Toro with the Kohler Courage on it. Still sitting in the backyard, but it ran, drove, and cut when I got it. It broke a belt, bought a belt. It's been 3 months. Still sitting back there. It just hasn't been on the priority list. But, so yeah, so we're screwing this in here. Boom. A couple of 8mm will finish that off. We've been clicking away today, actually. Got gotten a lot of machines fixed for people, and when I get a lot of machines fixed for people, then I'll take some time and finish the stuff that I have here to hopefully sell and make some money off of. I need to find the rest of the pieces that I put in this bin about 3 months ago now. And fuel lines and this to do the throttle with. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on here. What I want to do, get it at full throttle, pull this up, push it in about right there, and see if I can screw this screw in here. I don't have a star bit, of course, but I can get one. At the very least, I want to have this thing running today. Well, I can at least drive it around, hopefully, as long as the driving portion of it works all right. Alright, so full throttle is up. I need to get it up to full throttle and get that adjustment correct. Choke. Alright. So that is good. Throttle and choke. I don't think I had the anti-backfire solenoid plugged or on this carburetor anymore. But I'll bring it around nonetheless and just hook it up like it's supposed to be. It's going to be hooked up to an 8mm right there. Or a 5/16, whatever socket that you got floating around. So I'll hook that up. Awesome. We'll plug this in. Like I said, I don't think I've got the I don't think I've got it in there, but I'm going to put some fuel lines on it and see if it will run for us. Alright guys, I got it topped off with oil. Also got fuel line and a shut-off switch and fuel filter and stuff in it. Almost ready to put a battery in it, but I looked at the ignition switch and the key, if you look inside it close enough, it looks like somebody broke a key off in there. So I'm going to grab an ignition switch from my stash, hopefully, and pull it out. This is easy to do. You just have to disconnect the connector on the back. There's a couple little tabs that you got to like pop in on each side. You might want to get a screwdriver to help you out a little bit. I'm sure I got switches on switches for these Craftsmans too, so don't really care if I mess this one up getting it out. But well, we're gonna mess this one up getting it out, but these things are a little bit tight sometimes, but like I said, we're not going to be saving this. So there we go. Comes out smoother the second time. So this one's got the, does it have the reverse? Yeah, it has the mow and reverse portion of the key switch on it. And what we got, 7 terminals on the back. So let me find one that matches it. Got a good match to it, 7 terminals. They are labeled the same on the back. And so that one can go in the trash. Wasn't the best throw there. Just slide this in, it pops into place. Put this connector on there, boom. And so now next order of business is, let me put a battery in it and see if it'll start. Hopefully it'll drive too. If it runs and drives, we'll go and work on the mower deck on this thing, because I'm sure it's frozen up, and we also need to put one of them cables on here as well. Alright guys, well, thought it was time to start, put a battery in it, and bad starter solenoid, I think. We're going to double check. Could need a starter, I don't know. Let's just see what we got here. Put it to a grounding bolt. I need like 3 hands for this, but that's all right. Yeah, it's just not sending it through the starter. So I'll get a starter solenoid on it here. I'll show y'all real quick how to do that as well. On these mowers, it is pretty easy to do. There's some long bolts, aren't they? But they serve the purpose. Pull the gas tank up and out of the way, and now we can see the starter solenoid down here. Now just make sure that you don't have the ignition switch turned on and you'll be fine. I'm going to take a couple of 7/16 here. Kind of looks like somebody's been in here already. Recently replaced, it looks like. Shoot, I could have done it. You never know. And on the other side, you've got, let's see, is that a 3/8 on the other side? No, there's 7/16 as well. You can just hold the nut on this far side here and get it off. Same thing with this. Oh, you also have a couple of things to unplug down here. This is a 4-post, so unplug the black wire and the white wire. And voila, it's out. So let me look at the date code on this thing. It's made in 2020. So I don't know why it's already failed. Because there's no volts getting to the ground bolt or anything from what I could tell. So I'm going to slap a new one on. I'll grab one, put it on. Alright guys, new starter solenoid does the same thing. So it is the starter, in fact. Checking these, this is actually one that I put on. Because the one that I took out of this bag right here and just put on has the exact same date code on it. And it's a rotary solenoid. So it looks like we're going to have to change the starter out on this machine, unfortunately. I had a little bit of a suspicion that I was going to have to do that anyways, just because this terminal is a little janky. And so it's probably, and I can feel it going through the positive wire. But nonetheless, we tried. got the ignition switch cut off. We'll just take this nut off because, like I said, probably a bad starter. 1/4 inch. And hopefully I can get it with this 1/2 inch nut here. So let's pull that off. This thing just doesn't want to play ball this afternoon. That's alright, we'll get it. That thing sounds a little rough anyways. So let's see, 1/2 inch. And I don't know if I've even had this engine running yet. I can't even remember what engine this came from. I don't know if it came off of a Murray that I had, but I mean, I guess this thing just ain't turning. So I'm gonna go grab a starter that I hope works. I'll just slide it on here and hopefully this thing will turn over after that. Alright, well I put a starter on and it's still. Let me show you why. On the back side here is the ground wire, believe it or not. And I kind of moved it right here. There we go. So it's a ground wire issue, believe it or not. Let me pull this battery out, see where that ground wire is not making contact, and I'll let y'all, I'll see if I can show y'all, and hopefully we'll have us a, well, it is cranking now, but I am going to fix it just for kicks. I do want to see if I can get it to start while we've got it like this. So that carb is junk, but it does run. I'll swap the carbs out for a better one here in a minute. But we'll pull the battery out, figure out where this ground wire is that's causing issues, and resolve that. So it was just a ground issue, 9/16 underneath that battery box. Just a wrench tighten it up. Before I change the carb back out on it, I do just want to see if it'll drive. I'm not really keen on the way that it is set up down there. The transmission is a little bit different than the usual setup that you see on these machines. So let me see. So it is running and driving. I am going to work on the carb. I'm going to put another carb on it. And then we'll get into the mowing aspect of this. Hopefully it's not going to be too bad. But like I said, I need to put a carb on it, because that carb that's on it is just trashed. So let me do that next. We'll get it running a lot better, and then we'll see what we need to do after that. Alright guys, I ended up having to put the other starter back on it because that one is dragging and it is weak. I probably just need to throw it away, honestly. So the old starter's back on it because there was nothing wrong with that starter, even though I thought there was. It was just a ground problem. Carburetor, put a new carburetor on it. I had to drill out the jet on the carburetor, but it's ready to rock. So and driving issues are fixed on this, from what I can gather. I do need to, I'm going to ATF the front tires. I'm going to drive it around a little bit, and then we'll work on the deck issues. Hopefully those aren't going to be too bad. Hopefully it's just putting a cable on it and a couple other small things and be done with it. So I got it running good again, which is good. I think you just saw that in the last clip. I have pulled the deck. There's 5 mounting points. The 2 in the front, it's best to take them off of the front of the very front of the tractor. The 2 on the side, and then the 5th one is in the back where that rod is. You will also, if you have a good cable, you have to take that cable off of that pulley right there. One thing I had to do already is put a blade brake arm and a spring on it, but it is good now, and this already had the return spring on it, which is a miracle in itself. So what you have to do a lot of times on these is that the blade brake grooves get worn, or the blade brakes wear grooves into these. You feel it right there into this arm. So I got to bend that out a little bit as well. But so what you do is you take a 9/16 right there, you pull that off. That's the kind of the pivot area for the deck. I've done this a million times on this channel, so I'm just going to go ahead and take care of that. If you have any questions about it, just look up any LT1000 Craftsman video that I have. You literally take this off, you'll grind these grooves out right there. I'll show them to you when I get them off the tractor. And then I'll slide everything back in. I am going to replace the whole the cable as well as the blade engagement arm because somebody has bent that bracket. After I do that, this mower should be ready to cut grass, hopefully. I'll check the blades on it as well, either sharpen them or replace them. Well, looking under the deck, I ended up having one bent blade. That orange one right there was bent. So I found one good blade right beside it. I had some new ones, but I wanted to see if I had any good used ones to put under it because just the age of the mower, I'd rather keep my new blades for some nicer machines if I was able to. Turning it back around, I got everything back on it like it's supposed to be, and it seems like it's moving pretty freely. I'll put the spring back on here too. So that's good. I need a 144959 belt to put on here. And then it'll be ready to stick back up under the machine. So, but overall, after I clean everything up on the mower, it's going to look pretty good, I think. And also, this piece right here, I'm going to, like I said, swap out completely just because this bracket right here has been bent. Maybe it would have bent it back, but I'm not fully sure. Let's see where it is. It's right. It's way under there. So maybe if I do this, what do y'all think? Y'all think I can bend it back to make it work? If I grab some pliers, I might be able to. It's right there in the middle of the screen. Let me grab some bigger pliers here and just see. Probably not very easily without having to take it off, unfortunately. So what I got to do is I got to take the 4 10mm off of the front there. I got the new blade cable as well. Let me get y'all on this side. Sorry for the earthquake effect on this clip, but get it right there. 410 millimeters. We'll take this off because the cable's already disconnected. Do this. Alright, so it is off. We'll get it out of there. May have to pull the gas tank in order to do it, but actually, I think I got it. So just got to pull this safety there. You can see where they had bent this. And I've got, I don't know how many of them here, so I'm just going to swap it out. Let's see, it's going to go that way, ain't it? Alright, and I'll slide it back in here. Alright. Okay. We'll put these 4 bolts on. I'll tighten the one down first. What you do after that, we got the cable, right? We're going to feed the new cable through. The new cable is going to go through there's a huge hole underneath there, and it'll slide around, and we'll zip tie it up top here, kind of where you see those holes at. And it'll come around into the deck. I'll show you what that looks like after I get the mower deck back on, and I'm going to put a belt on as well. The belt routing is very easy on this. So main pulley in the front, this pulley, this pulley, this pulley, this pulley, back to the main pulley in the front. Well, I think we're at the point to test this out. I did put that new blade engage cable on there. And it seems to be secured pretty good. Sometimes you have to put some electrical tape around that. Just kind of depends on the quality of the cable a lot of times. Zip tied it down on the bottom down here. So that it curls around properly, and then you hook that in place. And then your mounting points on the side, that one on the back and the 2 in the front. And I think I mentioned I put ATF in the tires. Now these aftermarket carbs, you have to do a little bit of modification too for these type air cleaners that go on top of them. This one here, you have to cut the little piece that sticks up out of it, and then also you have to wallow out the hole for this intake in order to get this to work. Otherwise the choke will get stuck or not engage all the way. So just remember that as well. I looked at all the pulleys. Again, I told you that this transaxle is a little bit different than the others that I've seen, and it's because it's a peerless right there. I've never seen one of these in one of a peerless hydrostatic in one of these machines before, so it looked a little bit different. I didn't know if it worked properly. The only thing I can't figure out is that I can't get it to disengage and roll freely. So as long as the engine or the mower runs, that's not much of an issue. But nonetheless, if the mower runs, drives, and cuts, then we're going to be in great shape. Like I said, the deck looked like it was in pretty good condition, and so that's a plus. It's the 12 gauge deck as well, so that's awesome. Let's crank it up. Something's not working right with the safety now. Might be I have to switch that switch. Excellent. So the only issue is that switch is the opposite of what it needs to be. So I just need to pull that old switch out and put the new switch in, and we should be good to go. I do need to check to make sure that the battery is charging like it is supposed to, and a few other things. But it is running, driving, and cutting. Let me make sure that it's not wearing out the belt anywhere. Seems like it's alright. I am going to cut with it a little bit just to make sure, because we actually got a little bit of rain finally. And make sure that everything's good in that aspect. And then we'll go on from there. So yeah, I got to do small things, like I need to switch that. I need to find a little cover for that steering wheel and a few other things before I send this thing on. But hey, it's ready to roll essentially in terms of the mechanicals of it. Now we need to do the cosmetic restoration portion of it. Well, I went out and cut with it for about 20 minutes or so, maybe 15. Did excellent. It's ready to go. So I cleaned up everything. I swapped that safety switch that I was telling you about on the, it's just a couple of clips. I swapped out that safety switch, greased everything up, and didn't even have to paint anything, which is unusual for these Craftsmans. It's ready to go. I think it's going to be a very nice mower for somebody. And if y'all remember, I think I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, although it was months and months ago when I filmed that, this is the second of those two Craftsman LT2000s that I traded for a couple of Cub Cadet weed trimmers. that I got as a part of a lot of machines that I paid $100 for, and the push mowers made $100 on it. So I really don't have, aside from like a belt, and if I needed to put batteries and stuff in it, and a starter solenoid, a couple of other small things, I don't have anything else in this machine. So the other one I had listed for $625, that was the Kohler. The deck was a little bit louder on that one than this one. I'm probably going to do the same thing with this machine, about $625. Take $550 for it. It's well worth that. Man, this thing's just been sitting here waiting its turn for 3-4 months, and I finally got to it. So I'll give you all a final look. I replaced one of the headlights. Did not put LEDs in it because I had an extra incandescent, but still ready to rock. Really good. It's ready to go. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Really happy with how it turned out, and I think it's going to be a great mower for somebody. Y'all know these things right here will just run and run and run, and when you have to fix them, they don't cost that much, and they're very simple to fix. So here it is again, guys, the Craftsman LT2000. This one, again, started life. It had not the correct engine on it originally when I got it. I robbed that engine to put on a different machine, which I can't remember which one it was now. But regardless, I put this 14.5 on there, got it to run, but then I had to rob a couple of parts off of that, like the carburetor and stuff, and then 3 months later it's still sitting out here. And I said, you know what, this thing ain't going to take much to get back going again. So let me just spend like a couple afternoons on it. It's been dry lately, so I don't have a ridiculous amount of repairs in. I got a lot of repairs done over the past week as well. So I said, let's get this thing in here, get it finished, get it out of here, so that I can have a little bit more space as things continue to come in over the course of time. Turned out awesome. These things always turn out better than expected, especially after I shine them up with a little bit of transmission fluid. It looks great. And like I said, it's going to give whoever buys this mower, it should give them really good service for a while. The deck is in good shape, the tires are in good shape, and the engine runs really good, doesn't smoke, got a new carburetor on it. It's ready for the long haul, hopefully. If not, it's simple to fix. So thanks again for watching this video on the Craftsman LT2000. I'll do my best to continue turning out riding mowers. It's July currently. Sales can be strong all the way up until about Labor Day, and I've had decent luck selling mowers into late September and early October before it really drops off. So I'd love to get another, probably realistically about 8 to 10, but in reality it's probably going to be more like 4 to 5 riders out of here, and then once work slows down here in the fall, just crank out what I got in the backyard, since I got a little bit of a better crop of mowers now, and got rid of some of my junk, like complete junk stuff. So thanks again for watching. hope y'all enjoyed this video bringing yet another LT2000 back to life. I don't even know how many of these I've bought or fixed and resold at this point. But it's doing good, and I appreciate y'all watching, and I will catch y'all on the next video.